Ayo, 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 and welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon. Now, we all know where I left off, and if you don't, well, you guess you gotta go watch the video. But we're gonna continue because I love this story, and I want to see where it goes. What is with that? Why is there a black tie? I don't know. Let's just continue. What a brilliant day! The sun is shining, the town is full of laughter, and I have my sweet princess here to accompany me. It sounds like I'm getting easier to read, too. No, you've just said it enough times that I memorized it. Again, I don't know what voice I was using for her, so she's just gonna have my voice. That means you must pay attention to my words. That in itself is a compliment, princess. It is not. We are on our way to the usual store to restock our medications when a small figure leaves out through the front door. She stares at us with a lost look on her face. Rumpel reacts immediately, making his way over to her with a broad smile. Madam, I can't help but notice the pained expression upon your beautiful face. Is there anything I can do to assuage your worries? For seeing your lovely face shadowed by such sadness stabs me right in the heart. The woman stares at Rumpel, dumbfounded. His smile wavers and he takes a step back, suddenly looking alarmed. Oh, I'm sorry. It's you! Huh? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. This is awkward, madam, but I'm afraid I don't know you. What? Or do I? Do I know you? I take a step forward and look at the woman flatly. He has been cursed. He has amnesia. Amnesia? The woman stares at Rumpel, scrutinizing him. You do seem different. Changed from before, in any case. So you knew me before? How horrible it is of me to forget such a lovely face. But perhaps you could help me remember? The usual flirty suggestion is in his voice, but the woman seems unaffected. I can help you remember. You can? It's no wonder I can't remember your name. You have the Fairytale Curse, don't you? Who is this woman? You truly don't remember me? I'm sorry. The woman looks conflicted, but the expression is gone as fast as it appears. I'm Bria. Your fiancé. Ho, 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 what? Oh, snaps. This just got juicy like a steak. Let me drink some water. Quenching that thirst for drama. Here we go. What? The shock is apparent on my face, but nowhere near as impressive as the astonishment on Rumpel's face. My fiancé? She has to be lying. How can Rumpel possibly have a fiancé with the way that he is? He is barely able to dedicate himself to a single woman for an hour. Bria takes a step forward and takes Rumpel's hand in her own. You don't remember holding my hands like this when you took me to the forest and proposed to me? Rumpel opens his mouth, but no words escape. He reminds me of a lost dog all of a sudden, with his eyes so wide. Bria runs her fingers over his hands. I loved you. You loved me. And I still love you very much. I don't remember this. How can I help you remember? Rumpel's voice is faint, but still he tries to smile. The circumstances of the curse tell me that I need to remember through memories and, a journal somehow. A journal? I have your old journals. I can show you the very first love letter you wrote me. Bria starts walking, her hand still clasped in Rumpel's. I stare after them for a few moments, trying to piece together what is happening in my head. I'm pretty sure I'm jealous. I chase after them. I think Lady's jealous. Oh, God. All right. Okay, wow. This really took a turn. Bria enters a house, one that Rumpel stares at in awe. When she comes back out, she's holding a journal. She hands it to Rumpel, then opens up to the first page. This is a little embarrassing, but there it is. You compiled your letters into a journal. Rumpel slowly reads over the words, and I notice the strange glazed look come back into his eyes as his expression grows more somber. This is like last time, when he remembered that he was a doctor. Bria turns to me as Rumpel is reading, and her eyebrows arch. And who are you? His partner. Partner? We are helping each other with our curses. Oh, you're cursed too? You poor thing. Bria's voice is flat. She is glaring at me beneath her smile. Oh yeah, I'm noticing it now. She's got bitch face. Look at all this bitch face going on here. I have done nothing to merit this distrust from her. And I cannot bring myself to trust her either. Bria. Rumpel looks up from the journal and stares at her. Yes, sweet? Rumpel's melancholy expression throws me off. Last time he was so excited when he realized he was a doctor. But now his expression is heartbreaking. I remember. I did propose to you. In the forest, when it was dark, You set up little lights around the clearing. We spoke for a while, and then when you got down on your knee, you dropped the ring. It had fallen in the roots of some tree. We only noticed it when a bird came down to pluck it out of the bramble. I had no idea what you were looking for, but I still chased after the bird. And you got the ring back. And you knew. I don't like this, okay? First of all, I don't think she's good enough for him. I think only I am good enough for him, although I do like her hairstyle. Bria holds out her hand, and I notice a beautiful red-green gem ring on her ring finger. Oh, that is pretty. It was still charming, though. I laughed for so long because it felt so memorable. Plucking your engagement ring out of a bird's beak. You're right. Rumpel smiles, a little uncertainly. In that moment, I feel him turn away from me. He does not even realize I am there, standing with Bria. Why am I feeling so uncomfortable? You said you were helping Rumpel with his curse, yes? She turns to me. There is no worry. I can help him now. That is what couples do. I have to force the pity out of my heart. I have to force myself to think rationally. Something still seems off about this. But Rumpel remembers. Which means this is the truth, isn't it? Oh, hell no. No. I'm not walking away just because she showed up with some book trying to tell him that he proposed to her. I don't care if he remembers or not. Because you know what? Magic was involved. And when magic is involved, anything is possible, including that his memory is a lie. So, I am still his partner. I still feel something is wrong. I do not trust this woman. Do you know anything about him, dear? Have you helped him regain any of his memories? She was with me when I regained my memories. Lady is a very valuable good luck charm. Rumpel flashes a small smile at me before turning to Bria. Her eyes seem a lot colder now. Tell me, what do you go by now? Until we figure out your name, I need something to call you. Rumpel. Bria's cold gaze falls on me, and I can sense something in them that surprises me. Jealousy? Why would she be jealous of me? Rumpel, would you maybe want to come back home with me? What? I know you must be overwhelmed, but our home might be able to help you remember some things. I'm sorry. I actually have a patient somewhere else that I need to tend to. Bria's eyes flash briefly. Her frown is there for a few seconds before she smiles again. You always were good with your patients. I'm sorry. It's okay. I understand that you're overwhelmed. But remember, now I am here for you too. I want to mend things, to make them go back to what they were before. How about you look over that journal, and then we meet again tomorrow? We can take this one step at a time. I would like that. But I wouldn't. This bitch Bria needs to go. We can get to know each other again, and in time, I'm sure you'll remember what we used to have. I loved you. And I did too. I still do. A slight shiver runs down my spine as I stare at the two of them. There is that uncomfortable feeling once again. Bria and Rumpel agree on a spot to meet tomorrow, and then she leans up to kiss Rumpel on the cheek. Ew! He puts a hand on his cheek as she walks off with a gentle smile on her face. Are you okay? He looks at me, and for a few moments, I feel that his gaze lingers longer than it normally does on my own eyes. Then he smiles and laughs. Of course I am, Princess. I just remembered something about my own past. I'm guessing that the second entry has appeared in my journal by now. I can't wait to get back to the march to read it. Bria has the rest of my journals, so I might truly be able to remember everything if I talk to her. Including your love for her. He sighs out before he proclaims that we should finish our errands. I follow him around the town, though the scenery lacks its usual vibrancy. Rumpel doesn't... Oh, there is a loud truck outside. Goodness gracious alive. Also, I'm going to drink some more water. Rumpel doesn't speak to anyone, not even the girls, while we walk. He keeps his eyes focused on the ground, and when he speaks to the shop owners, his cheer is lukewarm at best. I try to start a conversation with him many times, but he shies away from talking. Uh-oh. I feel like there is something he is not telling me. When we arrived at the march, Rumpel quickly excuses himself, not even sharing his epiphany about his past with anyone. What has him so bent out of shape? He just regained another memory. I'm assuming he is going to go read about it now. It is not like him to hide things. I hope Rumpel is okay. Yeah, I'm kind of worried about this. Oh, God. I like how it's doing this little episodic, little bumper in the middle. It has been about a week since Rumpel regained his last memory. He has been meeting with Bria since then. Ew, I'm not comfortable with that. He's my man. But he still hasn't told me about the memory from the journal. He does not flirt with any girls, and when he sees me, his smile looks broken. He spends his days visiting Bria and tending to Parfait. Oh. You're worried about Rumpel, aren't you? Why would I be worried about him? Because Rumpel is no longer able to run errands with me, Waltz decided to take his place. But Waltz's presence cannot make up for Rumpel's absence. Oh. He'll be fine, Princess. He's still figuring things out. I do not trust that woman. His fiancée? She appeared out of nowhere. Well, people who aren't cursed can't find the tavern, Princess. She would never have been able to find him. So, really, the only place she could have met him was out here in nowhere. I can tell that he is teasing me, but it does little to lift my spirits. I know. Waltz sighs. If you don't trust her, why not just ask around for her? She obviously does not want to talk to me. No, I mean ask others about her. So long as you find a way to phrase your intentions honestly, I think they might understand you. Rumpel says my honesty is good, but I also know that the way I speak frustrates many people. Sure it does. True that. Come on, I'll help. Oh, thanks, Waltz. Waltz approaches a flower shop where several people are gathered to look at the fresh flowers. Excuse me, madam, sir. I was wondering if you know anything about someone named Bria. We hear that she's engaged to a friend of ours, but he hasn't said much about her. Everyone calls me blunt, but I would never question others so openly. Does Waltz really expect the people to be so open to him? Oh, if it isn't Waltz! Doing a little investigative work, are you? Just looking to find out more about someone important to a friend. Huh, not gonna put this into one of your shows, are you? Waltz raises an eyebrow and laughs. Of course not. Everyone just trusts Waltz. I suppose he must speak to people often, being a performer. They would probably never suspect Waltz to do anything morally questionable. And yet, with me, they were suspicious of everything that I did. I guess it is a good thing Waltz is here. I stifle a sigh as the so-called investigation begins. But Bria? I was under the impression that her fiancé wasn't seeing her anymore. What? Okay. Bria! Oh, poor Bria! I heard that the poor dear made a mistake and that her fiancé threw her out for it. Is she engaged to someone new now? I'm not surprised, given the affair that she had on her first fiancé. Oh, snap. She cheated on Rumpel? Excuse me? What did you just say? Oh, you aren't aware. I'm terribly sorry. Perhaps I shouldn't have said anything. I immediately forgot what voice I did for her. You said she cheated on her first fiancé. She was engaged to some man, a doctor, I believe. He was a good man, always smiled, helped everyone, including the poor. I don't see how she would have the gall to do it, but the rumors state that she was seeing another man. I think I saw them out together sometimes. He was a rich businessman. Who was he? I believe he was one of the doctor's patients. Did anyone see this for sure, ma'am? Oh, lots of people did, and that's why the poor man stopped seeing her, bless his heart. He looked heartbroken. But then the two of them were engaged, so she should have been more committed to him. When Bria first approached Rumpel, she had no idea he had amnesia. She started apologizing to him. Ah, I get it. Putting two and two together. Also, why is my hand, falling asleep? That's weird. Was it for that affair, or am I just speculating? We thanked the woman for her help before continuing to ask around town for more information. The more we hear, the more certain we become. She cheated on him. Princess, I know what you're thinking, but it would be incredibly rash to tell Rumpel about this. But she is lying to him. I can still remember the sadness in his eyes. Maybe somewhere deep down he still knows. Did his journal entry not say anything? You can try talking to him, Princess, but without any evidence, we're just going off of rumors. If you were wrong, I think that would hurt the situation a lot more. I'm forced to acknowledge Waltz's reasoning. As much as I want to tell Rumpel right now, I do not even know where he is. We finish our errands for the day, and then return to the march, where I complete my chores around the tavern before retiring to bed. Oh, God. I like that this story's starting to spice up. Later that night, after turning for hours in bed without any success of sleep, I make my way downstairs for a glass of milk. What? I stop abruptly at the sound of hushed voices. First of all, that is one thing I have never craved in the middle of night, was a warm glass of milk, and yet that's just this thing that I always hear about. Parfait and Rumpel are sitting together at a table, their voices soft. It means a lot to me that you're still taking care of me, even with everything that you have on your plate. When things are uncertain as they are right now, the little things that remain the same are actually comforting. What? No compliments tonight? He clears his throat. Lady Parfait, I always find comfort in your presence. Your heart's not in it, is it? Please, don't stress yourself out trying to take care of me. I've seen the orders of the medicines and the dosages. I can take care of myself, Rumpel.
I owe you and Lady Delora for letting me stay here. Even now, you could have kicked me out, yet I'm still here.
This isn't the confident Rumpel that I'm used to seeing. It's rather heartbreaking to see you like this, you know. Parfait's eyes drift past Rumpel, and she sees me before I can dart away. I think you're worrying your partner, too. Rumpel turns in his seat and stares at me.
Princess!
I slowly make my way toward them.
I'm sorry, Princess. I haven't been trying to help you out at all.
It is fine. Parfait's right, though. It is not like you to be so pitiful.
Ah, your words are still sharp as ever.
I glanced at Parfait curiously. The light of the tavern lights her face up dimly, making it look more ghostly than usual. She looks sicklier. Do you think I look like a ghost, Princess?
Yes.
By the time night comes around, I am utterly exhausted. You said you were like this because of the Tenenbaum Lucis you have to take care of. That's correct. I used to be able to watch over it more easily, but now with the balance between both crystals lost in the kingdom, it's getting harder. This responsibility is a big burden. It is a heavy toll on my body. But that doesn't diminish any of my pride. I am proud to bear this responsibility. Someone needs to do it, and I'm very glad I can help so many people through bearing this burden.
What would happen if you just let the responsibility go?
There would be even more chaos than there is now.
And what of the Tenenbaum bearer? Would they not help you with your stress?
There is no Tenenbaum bearer currently. What?
Parfait stares at me for a few moments, a complicated expression on her face. Then suddenly she sighs.
Please do not worry about me, Princess. I've lived a good life. I just want to do more good while I still live.
Wow, that's the talk of somebody who's about to die. I don't know how I feel about that.
And I am very lucky to be surrounded by so many good people. Anyway, the two of you should be off to bed soon. I can tell you're both tired.
Parfait pauses to look at me, eyebrows slightly arched.
Oh, but before you go, there was something I meant to ask you.
Ask me?
Parfait crosses her arms and looks at me tersely for a few moments. The look is so unlike her that it almost concerns me. She looks uncertain of something, though I cannot imagine what it is. What could she want to discuss with me? I wanted to ask if you were free the day after tomorrow.
I am free whenever my schedule says I am.
Then, if you could spare 20 or so minutes, I want to speak with you about something. Very important. Important. I suppose you could say it's related to your curse.
Fine.
Parfait smiles at us before walking back to her room, leaving me alone with Rumpel. Rumpel smiles at me uncertainly. For a few moments I think he might actually talk to me, but then he rushes off after giving me an apology. I watch him walk up the stairs, my heart sinking. I need to know what is going on with him.
Oh, I feel bad for her because she finally opened up and is learning to love and she's falling for him and it's changing her for the better and now he's alienating her and she doesn't even understand why. So sad. Today is my day off. I keep on the lookout for Rumpel. Eventually, I see him making his way down the staircase. He does not look quite as disheartened as last night, but his expression is still rather somber. He says good morning to everyone as he usually does, and then walks out through the front door. And that is my cue. I'm following him. Following behind Rumpel without being seen proves to be remarkably easy. Even if he is perceptive, he won't be expecting me to follow after him when I normally work during these hours. He makes his way through the town until he comes to a stop at a little cafe in the main plaza. It is cleverly hidden,
just slightly out of view, not at all in plain view like the rest of the shops. Bria is sitting, waiting for him at a table with a journal. The way she smiles at him numbs my heart. I make my way over to the nearby fountain and crouch beside it to keep out of their view. I can hear their conversation just barely from where I sit. You know, I'd been searching for you a long time when I saw you. You suddenly disappeared from the house one night, and I couldn't find you.
Why did I leave the house?
I don't know.
Was it a fight?
No, not a fight. We barely ever fought. We made a promise when you gave me this ring. We promised we would never make each other sad. I close my eyes and breathe. Bria's words drive a bitterness through my heart. After everything I heard. It is possible those rumors were baseless, but isn't it also possible that they were the truth? And Rumpel mentioned a fight. Now was my chance to tell him, uh-oh.
Let's go ahead and save. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, page 2? Okay. There we go. Just in case. All right. I feel like, I want to interrupt, right? But at the same time, it's very important to Rumpel that he discover more about his past. And I don't want him to basically get mad at me for coming in between that. I think this might be something that he needs to discover on his own. So I'm not going to interrupt the conversation. I'm going to let him kind of work this out.
But if somehow everything that we heard was one big lie, would I hurt Rumpel? I also have my pride. I cannot just accuse someone, even if I feel that Bria is guilty of something.
Well, that's not my reasoning, but fine.
I step away from the fountain, meaning to head back the way that I came. Even if the situation sounds wrong, I feel that Rumpel would hate me getting involved.
Yeah, there we go. That.
I am surprised then when he calls my name.
Princess? That's not your name. Your name is Lady.
What are you doing here? He saw me? Did he know I was behind the fountain?
Spying, are we?
I make my way over to the table, to where Rumpel is looking at me with worry, and Bria is openly scowling at me. Is there something wrong, Miss Partner? Not with me, but perhaps with you. Excuse me? You seem to have quite the reputation.
Princess.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but taking people's words at face value is foolish. Mother would have said the same thing, but why would they lie? So it is not true that you were seeing another man? How dare you! Bria stands up and glares at me. I frown back at her. Her anger does not faze me.
Oh shit! Stand your ground, lady!
She seems like a petulant child. I can't stand jealous girls. They're the bane of my existence. And you're what, 18? 17. But what does that even matter? Either way, there'd just be about a 6-year age gap between you two.
Oh. 24? Gods, am I really so ancient? Excuse me. You do not talk about people in their 20s being ancient, Rumpel. I am in my 30s.
The two of us look at him in unison, then back at each other. I'm here because I want to help my partner, and because you are lying to him. And who are you to say that I'm lying? You're a terrible little spy is what you are, hiding places to watch us, going around town asking about me. I'm telling you now that Rumpel doesn't need you, especially if you're the one spewing lies. Those words have no weight coming from a hypocrite.
Wait, ladies. Oh, God, he's making his mad face.
Rumpel looks between the two of us, eyebrows furrowed. Then he shakes his head.
Bria, I knew. It was in my journal.
What? Rumpel faces Bria, his expression crumpled. It was that lord, wasn't it? The one I refused to take money from that one time I helped him? He told me himself. I think that's why this feeling inside of me is so mute right now. Why I was always having second thoughts about your stories. Bria, why didn't you ever tell me you were seeing him? I asked you that question back then too, but you never told me, and so I was waiting for you to bring it up again. I was waiting for you to explain. I was waiting for... As if I could ever get anything through that thick skull of yours. Even I cannot stop myself from staring at her when she insults Rumpel. But with this, she has admitted that the rumors are true. Even if I explained myself, all you would ever say was that you were sorry. But nothing ever changed. What did I do that was so wrong? Look at you! Even now you can't bring yourself to be angry at me. Oh, I see. You knew the truth, and instead of demanding to know why I did what I did, you keep asking what you did wrong. But you'll never realize what you did wrong, Rumpel. Never. Some things never change. Bria scowls as she makes her way around the table. Rumpel tries to call her back, but Bria only frowns as she walks off. She basically seems like the problem is that he's weak. He's probably somebody who's always like, yes, dear, and always coddling and playing up to whatever she wants, and she probably felt that that wasn't challenging. She probably wanted somebody that, was more dominant and domineering, and that took charge of the relationship like Rumpel couldn't, and that's why even now she's kind of criticizing him for, apologizing and saying, hey, what did I do? Instead of just getting pissed and being like, hey, bitch, you cheated on me. What gives? Like, get out. But then again, if the rumors are true, the townsfolk did say that he kicked her out. So he did stand his ground at some point. But anyway, let's just continue. Rumpel lets out a long sigh. And there go all of my journals, too. Right. He said that Bria had all of his old journals. I am sorry. Huh? I only made things worse. I'm still not entirely sure what they were talking about, but... Princess, you don't have to apologize for anything. Though... Oh, look! Oh, it looks so sad! I would like you to apologize for shedding some light on my age. It's so stupid. What? Am I really, truly that old? Suddenly he looks disgruntled, but the look of distraught on his face is almost comical. I cannot help it when I smile, and then start to laugh. Oh my god, look, she's so cute! Lady is actually laughing! Huh? Do my ears deceive me? Is that wonderful sound coming from your mouth, princess? How precious! It's just... You are an old man. If I'm an old man, then I'm young at heart. Besides, I would be a lot more offended if you weren't smiling while you said that. After a few moments, Rumpel sighs and shakes his head. I'm sorry you had to see all that. I knew there was more to the story than Bria was letting on, because I read the memory in my journal. You knew about the nobleman. But why did you not say anything? Like I said, I was waiting for her to say something. I wanted her to open up about it honestly. Bria is undoubtedly bold, but I doubt she is at all honest. The journal entry. I never read it to you. You have been distant the last week. I have been, and I'm sorry for that. But allow me to enlighten you. Rumpel gestures to the chair that Bria had been sitting in, and I take a seat opposite him. First, the nobleman was one of my patients. He had a grievous sickness, one that no one else had been able to cure. I cannot help but remember the little boy with the impossible sickness. It seemed he was drawn to Rumpel, too. Rumpel was not able to help that boy on his own either. Some woman offered her assistance. Did you manage to cure him with the help of that same woman? It's another cryptic entry, but yes. The mysterious woman from the first entry reappears. We strike another deal, but I cannot remember the deal at all. All I know is that afterwards I did something to make Bria hate me, and she began seeing the nobleman. Or maybe it was before that. Maybe she was just unhappy. She won't explain why. She still cheated on you. That is her fault, not yours. Rumpel nods absently. I can tell he is not convinced. In any case, even though I can't remember the entirety of what happened, every time I thought of Bria, I thought of our love in the past tense. Rumpel frowns, but it is fleeting. Suddenly, he is smiling again. Let's head back for now, Princess. I'll figure out how to reach Bria later. Well, you could just go to her house since you did see it. I follow Rumpel back to the march. Though he seems fine for a time, Rumpel's somberness returns as we head back. He looks like he is trapped in his thoughts. He needs the rest of his journals, but how is he going to get a hold of them now? I could maybe steal them, perhaps? Oh, Princess, you're here. Sorry we're late. Oh my God, Delora, I missed you so very, so. My, the princess is gracing us with her presence. Parfait said a few days ago that she had something to discuss with me, so I am here. Then let's get right to it, shall we? I can't do her voice anymore. I think it's because my throat's messed up. She plops down on one of the chairs, and Parfait sits down gracefully beside her. Princess, the other day you asked me about my responsibility, and briefly about the Tenenbaum bearer. I did, but what does this have to do with me? But it has everything to do with you, because when it comes to that second inquiry, the answer is right here. Delora points at me. I stare at her, not comprehending. Princess, the bearer to the Crystallum Tenenbaum is you. What? Yeah, exactly. I am not able to even feel shock, just confusion. But how do I have anything to do with these crystals? See, I told you she'd be confused. It's because we started backwards. I'm so sorry, Princess. I do not understand. You remember the story about the crystals, Princess? Vaguely. For a time, the crystals were in complete balance. Even the witches who drew on negative energy were respected. Then one day, Hans wrote the fairy tales. Witches were suddenly painted as villains. Humans attacked the witches, trying to drive them out. Their leader, who just so happened to be my best friend, was hard-pressed to try to keep the peace. She was the original bearer of the crystal. But as witches were killed and thrown out, she found her patience wearing thin. She killed a human, the ultimate taboo, and there was nothing we could do but try to stop her. This bearer, this leader of the witches and bearer of the Crystallum Tenenbaum, is someone you know, or someone you knew. She erased all of your memories, made you think that the fairy tales were evil, that humans were terrible. Ah. I feel something dark stirring inside of me. A sharp pain cuts through my heart, making it hard to breathe. The previous bearer of the crystal was your mother, Princess. Hildir, the leader of witches. I knew it! I already knew it! That isn't possible. Mother was not a witch. But she was, the strongest of us all. When she died, she kept some of her power sealed within the crystal, which is why it still allows the Fairytale Curse to be spread. What kind of lie is this? I cannot use magic, and Mother never told me that she was a witch. She would have told me. It sounds like it, doesn't it? But I assure you, Princess, we wouldn't ever lie to you about something like this. As impossible as it seems, you are a witch. Your power won't manifest until you're 18, and at that time you will inherit control of the crystal. Since your birthday is soon, this was the last chance we had to teach you goodness. Your mother's been shielding you from it for so long. We trusted you were different from her, and you are.
But Mother was the only one that ever loved me.
She stole away your memories and made you hate the world.
Delora.
She was fostering hatred in you, making you just like her.
You do not know anything about Mother. I stand up, rage coiling up inside of me like a snake. Lady, I know a lot about her, more than you will ever know. No.
The truth is hard, Princess, but eventually we all have to face it.
Hildir was my beloved friend. Facing her was the hardest thing I have ever done. We only want to help you.
Well, you're not very good at it. I turn on my heels and storm out of the room. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Did Parfait kill my mother? Oh, snizzle snaps. I feel that there was more to what Delora and Parfait wanted to say to me, but I cannot stand to hear it right now. I walk into the clearing and sit against a tree, furiously rubbing at my eyes as I try to clear my dangerously watery eyes. Okay. Showing emotion is weak. I sit there for a long time in the clearing, trying to calm myself. My thoughts spin wildly out of control. Princess? I see him out of the corner of my eyes, standing between two trees, his eyebrows knit together with worry. What? Were you listening? Listening? No, I just came to look for you in your room, and when I came downstairs, Parfait told me you had run out into the forest. May I sit next to you? I say nothing as he walks over to me. He sits down beside me, his hands resting on his knees as he looks up at the canopies of the trees. Thank you for today, Princess, for coming after me and trying to make things right. I am not in the mood to talk about this right now. My thoughts are too scrambled. Sometimes, truths are hard. How do you know it was the truth? A feeling. Trusting people is hard sometimes, I understand. He looks at me, and his eyes seem to glimmer softly in the moonlight. Would you like someone to listen to your problems, Princess? Of course I would! Of course. You're my bae. Talk. I rub at my eyes as Rumpel looks at me with a quiet smile. He could be talking about his own problems, but instead he is trying to comfort me. Parfait and Delora told me about something they were keeping hidden from me. They told me something about Mother. And it does not make any sense to me, because everything that they are saying makes her a villain. Even villains are often misunderstood, or have trying circumstances. Rumpel slowly reaches out to rest his hand on top of mine. I sit up straight and stare at him, my eyes wide. Rumpel smiles at me, a slow, soft smile that crinkles the edges of his eyes. Seeing such a beautiful lady close to tears makes my heart break, you know. But if you ever need to cry, you should. Tears aren't weakness, they're just a form of expression, and even the strongest of us cry. You talk that real talk, Rumpel. You talk that real talk. I am not going to cry. My mind reels and then starts to feel fuzzy. Definitely the Ice Princess. The title startles me out of my thoughts. I stare at him pointedly, beginning to grimace, but Rumpel just smiles. I always thought it was a delicate name, suitable for a strong and beautiful woman. Seeing you like this, it makes me realize that the name suits you. Perhaps if everyone else meant it that way, it would not be so terrible a title. Rumpel slowly takes his hand away and smiles. Though he insists on hearing me out, I insist on the opposite. For now, I want to keep what I discuss with Parfait and Delora to myself. I still need time to process it. For tonight, I just want to forget that the conversation ever happened. For some time, the two of us are silent. There are no words exchanged between the two of us, but the silence is comfortable. Then eventually Rumpel puts a hand on my shoulder. Things will work out, Princess. I hope so. I stand and excuse myself. Good night, Rumpel. I turn and walk away. Good night, my sweet princess.
Ah, I think that should end the chapter right there. And so it did. Wow. Let's just go ahead and save it here. Boop. All right. Let's return. Man, so that is a lot to unpack, as people like to say these days. I found out that he had a fiance, but I already knew that. But then, yeah, finding out that she cheated, and then finding out what I already guessed, which was that her mother was the, witch, that she was the Tenem Browram bearer or whatever. But that I didn't see coming, that lady is going to be the next one. So that's really cool. So anyway, yeah, that was another wonderfully riveting and well-written chapter of Cinderella Phenomenon. So, join me with the next episode where we continue this story. We see where this goes, both the relationship between Rumpel and Lady, as well as finding out more about his backstory, and now finding out more about what Lady's going to do about this new revelation, the fact that she will one day soon turn 18 and all of her powers will unfurl.